Welcome to session 3. My name is Greg Brzezinski, and as you can see, I'm also the Deputy Director of GWIX. And I'm going to briefly introduce the panelists for our next session. First, we have Bora Kim. Bora is an interdisciplinary artist who was born and raised in Seoul. Her process is based on cultural research, revolving around the spectacle and performance of Asian femininity and masculinity, particularly in the context of the global media. Kim's work addresses the public gaze and occupies the sphere of popular culture. She lives in New York and Seoul and holds a BA in Sociology from Korea University and an MFA from Columbia. Please welcome Bora Kim.
I'm going to talk about EXP EDITION, a non-Korean K-pop idol group that I made when I was in graduate school studying visual arts in New York. Growing up in Korea, I always wondered why I feel so alienated by things that are described as traditional. They felt foreign and hard to relate to. And I never felt connected nor comfortable around them because they were things that you do once a year. It had little relation to my everyday life or what I find beautiful or real in Korean society. So the one with the blue top, blue 저고리, is me when I was in the 5th grade, I think, doing the Korean traditional fan dance. And then when I learned about Halloween a few years later, I realized that this fan dance class was pretty much like that for me. I was dressed up and pretending to be something that I had no understanding of, so the effort to imitate it is not fun anymore after 20 minutes into the class, and the original that we're trying to mimic is something that is stuck in time somewhere, that it has lost any of its soul or authenticity. And I remember watching the cheap neon pink feather fan that every single student bought in front of the school, feeling sad. It felt like I was doing almost charity, meaning that in order to preserve this precious and rare thing called traditional culture, I spent my time and energy. And when I was 9 years old, my family moved to Missouri because my dad was doing a 1-year research program at a hospital. My music class teacher wanted me to sing 아리랑 in front of the whole class because I was the only Korean kid in the class and I just came from Korea. I really wanted to say no, but the pressure that I'm the only one who can represent Korea was just so much, I couldn't say no. So I went up and realized I don't know any of the lyrics. So I completely made up the song. And I sang the whole thing. So it was just like sound that sounds like Korean. And it was horrifying on many levels. And well, firstly, I'm a very bad singer. But more importantly, by the fact that I felt like a pretend Korean. And I'm not even a good one. How can I mess up that one song that people relate to Korea? So that was when I was 9, and this is fast forward plus 20 years. I came to the States to study art. It was around 2010, so K-pop's influence here was really becoming visible. And I was reintroduced to K-pop through the eyes of people outside of Korea. For them, K-pop was the gateway and a lens to Korea. Although there was nothing traditionally Korean about K-pop, it has become something that represents Korea. And seeing how K-pop gets interpreted made me think about the possibility of other ways to think about Koreanness. So I decided to make an artwork about K-pop and really get to the bottom of this. I'm an interdisciplinary artist, meaning I try to find a medium that would fit the project best, instead of working on one medium and that practice leads to projects. And I thought making a K-pop idol group from scratch for this inquiry would be the best. So In 2014, when I was in my second year of my MFA program, I asked two of my friends, Samantha Waishao and Karen Crota, to help me, and we held auditions. And this was the actual audition that Koki was in. And then we finalized into this 6 members. So my goal was, by the end of the year, when I graduate, in MFA programs, they do a thing called thesis exhibition. And on the opening day, I wanted to drop a original single and do a debut stage at the opening. So I was preparing all the things that was necessary in order to do that. So for example, there was a sound department right next to us, and I had a friend who has worked in the J-pop industry, so I bought him lunch and asked him if he can write a song for us, and he did. So it was, I was in an art school / film school, so we had all the cameras and lighting gears, and I was really lucky. I had the biggest studio because I was really lucky drawing the lottery. So I just turned it into a studio, and then we shot everything there. So it was like a very DIY project, and I also taught Korean. At this stage, I was the one teaching them Korean and things like that, yeah. And we had a K-pop choreographer choreographing our first single, and also we were working on our social media, and there we said that we are a K-pop idol group. And around, I think it was almost exactly a week prior to the opening day, we became viral on our Instagram account. And it was just overnight, our social media was just blowing up, and we literally didn't know what was happening. So I think this was the point where this project became something entirely different. Before, it was an artwork that was in a very insulated place, but then we were thrown into the real world, which I was hoping for, not in this exact way, but I didn't want to make a fake band. The initial goal, one thing that was really important for me was that I make a K-pop band, and that happened in this weird way. And these are some of the first media coverage that we got. Yeah. And these were the media coverages that we got in like a very short amount of time. So I think during that summer, all we did was interview. It was really interesting and bizarre experience. And I graduated, so I lost all my access to free camera. It wasn't free, the tuition was very expensive, but still, I lost all the access to camera, studio, and etc. So we decided to do a Kickstarter campaign, and we raised slightly over $30K in a month. And this was one of the most miserable months. Do not do Kickstarter. Yeah. So with that seed money, we were able to perform in venues that are very unusual for a K-pop band, like small bars. They couldn't move because the stage was so small. One was in a swimming pool. It was performance art piece in a swimming pool. The pink one is Queen's Museum Gala. So a lot of these venues were art venues and small venues. So we did that for a year, and it was a very precarious and unstable state because we weren't making money, and the members were they were doing second jobs, third jobs, catering waiters or doormen even, things like that. So it was a difficult time in our journey. I feel like every moment was difficult, but I think this is when we really became a team, because this is when things started to really organically snowballed, and this is when I think I realized that they were thinking of this project as their own. So I was so thankful that I was able to meet this amazing team. And another very important thing happened because of the media coverage, we were able to get a investment offer. So I took that, and we had a lot of discussion about it, and we decided to go to Korea because we are a K-pop band. So I first went to Korea, and then I built an entertainment company. And I included this because I found out that people didn't understand what I meant by I built an entertainment company. And we were in Korea. So we were really in the center we were in the Mecca. We were really lucky enough to perform in those 음악 방송s, and we did a couple of reality shows and documentaries, but like variety show documentaries, so it's very fictional. Yeah. We also did like a Christmas solo concert, and we even shot a Snapple commercial. And this was our first album cover. And every time we released our songs, the controversy would be stirred up again. So very similar media response would come afterwards. And we're gonna watch a video.
내 생각 잘못했는지 나 정말 살기가 힘들다 이렇게 시작은 왜 한 건지 참을 만큼 참았어 넌 왜겠어 다른 말은 해야 하겠어 오히려 변한데 I'm just
Yeah, so there are a lot to talk about, right? But just to briefly summarize, the criticism was that they can't be K-pop because they're Americans, and because they're white, and that EXP Edition was culturally appropriating K-pop. So it was about the authorship of K-pop, and the vast majority of people who criticized EXP Edition was non-Korean K-pop fans outside of Korea, mainly from the US. And the reason why we know it's from the US is because when you see, this is our YouTube channel analytics, and they tell you where the engagements come from, and it's mainly United States. But even more interestingly, we had a totally different reaction from the Korean audience when we were in Korea. Korean people and the Korean media would put us in the context of varying degree of either patriotism or nationalism, and would take us as an evidence that K-pop is now at this very high level of global success. They were very proud and flattered, and often thanked us for coming all the way to Korea to pursue our dreams of becoming a K-pop star. They were very welcoming, and we were kind of treated as an interesting new novelty. So EXP Edition was the token foreigners in K-pop. And EXP Edition was never attacked or criticized or stealing or disrespecting. Interesting thing about Korean media was that compared to American media, whenever they came to interview us or to film us for a documentary, etc., they would already have this narrative, like very set narrative, and they wanted to play. It was almost like filming a movie or something like that, because everything was very scripted, but the narrative were very similar, all the different media outlets. And we'd also get another new reaction that we have never gotten in the States, which was the criticism towards me, the fact that a young woman controlling these Western men was unseemly. But the thing is, because of the exact same reason, American media would turn that into a feministic story. And so they would emphasize that we're Asian women. So turns out this project really talks about the society where it's in more, I think. It really shows that what that society is about. I think even more than us. I realized throughout this journey, the most meaningful thing that K-pop has done for me, a Korean artist living in New York and Seoul, is that it has made it possible for me to be comfortable with what contemporary Koreanness is. What I identify as Korean can be a very strange hybrid of everything and anything, and it's okay. And it is actually awesome, like K-pop. Accepting Korea as it is, without searching for a tradition, authenticity, or originality that doesn't exist, is, I think, what inhabiting K-pop made me realize. Thank you.